What's going on, fellow patriots? So today I wanted to talk something a little bit different than politics. It's still relevant, but it's a little bit different than what I normally would talk about. Today is the 48th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, and in the pro-life world, that means a lot. Roe v. Wade is something that needs to be done away with, and it is especially scary to think of what will happen under a Biden-Harris administration, because we all know they're not pro-life. They want abortions legalized everywhere. They don't want any safeguards, nothing. They have no good interests at heart, in my opinion. But I just wanted to talk a couple things, some facts about Roe v. Wade and abortion that a lot of people don't realize or don't take into account. And this is being pro-life. That's something that sits very heavy on my heart. I think that is something that should be talked about more. A lot of people shy away from the topic, and a lot of people just don't know a lot about it. They think that pro-lifers are these horrible, evil people, that they're violent protesters when we stand outside of Planned Parenthood and Choices and pray over the women and the babies, and that is just not true. And in the description box below, I will link some resources that people can look at. And 40 Days for Life is coming up in the next month from February 17th to March 28th. Ash Wednesday to Palm Sunday. It is a 40-day event. It is international, so it is the same 40 days all over the world. A lot of places pray for 24 hours straight. They will always have people out there praying. Some places, depending on the city, will only have 12 hours just because to keep their members safe, to keep everybody healthy and safe. But abortion was legalized on January 22nd, 1973. The Supreme Court sees abortion as being protected by the 14th Amendment. They feel that abortion is implied in the women's right to privacy. I highly disagree with that. Abortion in any form is murder. And when you look at the Constitution and the wording that it uses and the wording that a lot of Democrats uses, you can't twist the words in any way that makes it any less of murder. And, a big argument that women use is my body, my choice. And frankly, the baby's body inside of you, it is not your body. It is not a decision that you can make to kill a human life. That is not how that works. And, when you have abortion, it's nothing. But when a pregnant woman is killed, it's a double homicide. So you can't cherry pick that in one instance it's the women's right to do this, and in another instance this baby's life has more value when it is killed in a different way. And frankly, that is just it's horrific. It's astonishing the lengths that people will go to justify murder of an innocent child at any age, in any form. And I'm glad to see that there are restrictions in some states. The heartbeat bills and the Down syndrome bills that have been passed. It's a great first step, but it's not enough. Abortion should be illegal everywhere. A lot of people think that won't stop abortions, that there will be more illegal ones, and frankly, the data actually suggests otherwise. Now, granted, banning anything doesn't mean that the crime will stop, but in cases of abortion, it will dramatically help the rates that are there. But before abortion was legalized in 1973, the Catholic Church actually banned abortion in 1869. In 1970, Hawaii became the first state to legalize abortion, but it only applied to residents who lived in the state. Now, that same year in 1970, New York legalized abortion, but it was anybody could do it. It didn't matter where you lived. Roe v. Wade was passed in a 7-2 decision. And currently, in 2021, Missouri is the only abortion-free state in the country. All of their abortion facilities have been shut down, and you have to go somewhere else to get an abortion. And, that is great that Missouri doesn't have any facilities. But again, there's more that we have to do to protect life in this country, and frankly, for everyone. But, America is the priority right now because that is where we are living. But I want to cover some fact versus fiction because a lot of people believe certain things that frankly just aren't true when it comes to this topic. And I think one of the biggest ones that I see is that rape and incest account for the majority of all abortions, and that is simply not true. They account for less than 1%. The majority of abortions happen because the mother does not want to take responsibility for the child or just doesn't want a child in general. Sometimes women will take into account the money that they have, but either way, there is no way to justify killing a child. Another popular myth is that abortions are painless for both the mother and the child, and that is very, very false. Babies, for certain, can feel pain as early as 18 weeks, and a lot of times earlier than that. A lot of women feel pain after, having the procedure done, and, there's a lot of side effects that are common but are not healthy for the woman. Another myth, is that women don't feel guilty, for what they've done, that they don't feel, that suicide rates aren't affected, and that is very true. And it also affects men. A lot of people don't think that men are affected when a woman decides to get an abortion, and frankly they are. They feel the loss of fatherhood because the woman should not be allowed to make the decision solely on her own, because you do have to take into account the father of the child. You do have abortion, you do have adoption, and just so many other options that are happy, health, and safe for the mother and everyone involved. And several studies have shown that women dying by maternal suicide are more than double than those who did not have abortions and those who had miscarriages and gave birth. So, that is a very sad reality to what happens, and it is not something that, makes me happy to report on. It weighs very heavily on my heart that people decide to kill their child, and, the women who do come to realize that what they did was wrong, the guilt and the shame that they carry, sometimes it drives these mothers to do things that they shouldn't do, and it really saddens me what happens. And the March for Life in DC was canceled this year. It will be virtual. I kind of think that's stupid and ludicrous, but they are still doing the March for Life nonetheless. It will be virtual. And again, 40 Days for Life is doing their praying, worshiping, and fasting from February 17th to March 28th. I will drop the links to 40 Days for Life in the description box below, and you can find 40 Days for Life somewhere near you, and hopefully you can participate and help spreading the word that abortion is not okay, praying over abortion, and just that there is a better way to do this, that life matters in all stages, that unborn lives matter, all lives matter. And that's just something that I wanted to spread out to y'all. Do with the information as you will. Those were the facts. I did spread my opinion just a little bit, but the data does speak for itself. So, just keep that in mind. I was really hoping that when Amy Coney Barrett became another justice in the Supreme Court, that we would see her take strides to help end Roe v. Wade. We haven't yet, but it is very scary to see what the Biden-Harris administration, if they last in these next 4 years, what they could do and what they will do, because both of them have taken a very pro-abortion stance, and frankly, that's just not okay. Besides just not liking Biden and Harris, that was one of the biggest reasons why I could never vote for them. I could never vote for anyone who is pro-abortion. And Trump was very pro-life, and he still is very pro-life. But that was that for today. I wanted to leave y'all with that. I know that is a little bit different than what I usually speak about, but it was just on heart to share with you guys. I will try and get another video out today, hitting you with some history facts about vice presidential history and Kamala Harris, because, not surprisingly, she has been spreading more lies, false truths. That's not surprising. She has plagiarized, I believe it was, MLK's story about her whole freedom. So I will put that out today, hopefully, if not over the weekend. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is your host, President Arwal, and Freedom Speaks.